Good morning, community. I'm Skyra with Terra Temple, and I'm just out here enjoying this beautiful sunny morning and the big island of Hawaii. And I said that I was going to, my last video, I said something about I have a special channeled message or something, but when I say channeled, I don't mean I'm channeling from other dimensions, other beings. I think that's a big misconception that we have to channel these beings outside of us. We can actually channel our own inner messages, our own, means that the light of truth channels through us. We don't have to channel other beings. We can channel ourselves because we are all part of that. And that's one of my channel is really going to move into about the truth of who we are, our divinity within. It's not outside of us. And we've been conditioned for thousands of years to seek truth outside of ourselves, to seek validation and worth and love outside of our own soul, our own embodied uh, truth. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And I would invite you to tune in and take a deep breath in into your heart space, into your and just relax in the moment because now is the only truth right now. It's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's right here, right now, with who and what we embody in this moment. And that is um, another misconception that we have to get somewhere, that we have to, there's somebody outside of us that is going to bring us or save us, and then that there's somewhere that we need to get to. And this really embodies more of the truth of the feminine because there has been an imbalance our in this planet of the imbalance of the masculine and feminine energy. And that doesn't mean that the feminine, the the woman, there's an imbalance, and the oppression. It means that there's been an oppression of the feminine energy in both men and women. So we are here to bring balance to those energies, um, without and moving past the shadow aspects, if that makes sense. So that really wasn't what I was going to go into today, but that really is part of the process to get to the place where you aren't seeking outside of yourself. You're realizing that you are the light embodied and that you are balanced within, that you don't need validation. You don't need, we need each other. We need relationships because that's how we reflect our triggers inside of us, the things that still need healing, the things that get us fired up. And because really, I saw a dear friend of mine this morning sent me a video, and it was from a rabbi, I believe it was, and I loved everything he said. He was talking about this incident of the Charlie Kirk, and at the end, he said, until what was it? He said, until the Messiah comes. And I loved everything he said until he got to that. And there was something deep in my inner being that said, there's still this of waiting, of seeking and waiting for someone to come save us. because that's how we've been conditioned. That is really what um, the religious programming has been. I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, but I do believe that it was definitely used to control. And because there's a program to keep us seeking outside, to look outside of ourselves, to not know that we embody love and truth and light within ourselves. We don't need to source it from anywhere else. And we have been taught that we need to look outside, that we need to find it in love and find it in relation, in churches and religions. And I'm not saying anything's bad or good. I'm just saying that might, there was from my own journey of being raised in the Christian religion, I fell deeply in love with the Christ energy, thinking, not realizing that's really not a man. I mean, it could be a man. We don't know. I don't know. Um, and maybe it was, but the missing aspect of it was where was the Magdalene energy? Where was the feminine energy in all this? That's where the programming is, the suppression of the feminine energy of that. It's just all the male, all the masculine. Um, and he is coming to save us. And that was where I really started questioning, and I had experienced a lot of trauma in churches and religion in my teenage years. And I know that there's so much of that we see through um, these these religious structures who are preaching God and goodness and light, yet they're the epitome of evil. Um, and we see a lot of people who are stopping going to church now. And what we're not realizing is that the the darkness can exist in the spaces where the most light exists, or the most light exists where the darkness is. It's both. Um, and that's why I was so angry for so long at this perceived God, um, because I had to walk on my own journey of to find the truth. And the truth is that there has been a lot of uh twisting, twisting of truth. Um, it's a way that we were kept from seeking within ourselves. And the spiritual walk, the spiritual journey is that movement, that seeking, it's a layering of coming into ourself, a self-discovery until we get to our own inner freedom. And what is in that inner freedom? And it's embodied frequency. It is the movement toward forgiveness. It's the movement toward forgiveness of yourself, the movement of all the things that keep us distracted from or disassociating from being alive and present in the moment, because we are still in our suffering, or still or having anxiety about the future of what comes. And what that is, it's an embodiment. We have to get to an embodiment of full trust. And that full trust comes from first ourself. How can we trust anything outside of us if we can't trust ourselves? And then that we means we need to learn to discern. We need to learn boundaries because those that darkness is always around. It's not going to go anywhere here, not yet. Um, but that's what we're moving towards. This is what we're moving toward as a collective, is releasing all the lower energy frequencies, all the places that we're stuck, all the things that keep us believing that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, um, to just live in light and being and freedom. And I'm not saying that this lifetime is going to be free from suffering because it's not going to be. But we can move through it quicker. Once we know how to transmute our energy and not get stuck in triggers and reactions and come to in a place of neutrality, even in everything that's happening in the world outside, of these perceived media wars, uh, shootings, and we have to realize that all of this is just a reflection of our collective consciousness. If we get stuck in the reactions, and why do you think media portrays all this and constantly brings negativity and horrors on media? It's to control our our beliefs. It's to control the energy, the frequency. So turn it off. Go out in nature. That nature is true. Nature is our healer. That's the womb of creation. Why get stuck in the looping of everything horrible? And I'm only speaking from my own experiences. And then I went through this. As we heal ourselves, and then we heal the generational trauma, and then we go into the cosmic trauma that exists within us. And so there's a layering of the healing process. It's not just what we can see in this lifetime. Um, and I went through these past 3 years of seeing everything, the Wi-Fi towers, and I'm going to talk about this stuff because it's true. The chemtrails, the dimming of the sun, the huge 5G towers everywhere, the EMFs, the HARP frequencies, the chemicals in our food. It's a very definitive, there's a definitive darkness that wants to enslave humanity. And how do we rise above that? We don't react. We don't give it our attention. And it's really difficult when you're living in the middle of it and you look up in the sky and you see all these obvious manipulations of our weather and nature, and it's we have to realize that this is the playing out. This is the clearing. It has to, like, even in our own energy and our own healing, it has to get really dark to come back out to the light. And that's where my channel is being focused in. Terra Temple is about embodying our true nature, which is not seeking outside of ourselves. It is the complete forgiveness of ourselves and everything and that seems to be happening in the world. It is the place of being able to navigate the frequency that seems to be, and I believe, and I have to say one more thing, is that wherever we are, if it's not aligned with your soul's frequency, you will suffer. If you're in a place, um, that doesn't feel good for you for whatever reason, um, frequency wise, energetically. I'm not speaking about because I don't want to be in this place, but we can learn to launch short term to navigate it. But if we're in a place we're trying to make our life fit in to that it just doesn't work for us any longer because our soul is needs a different alignment, there will be suffering, whether it's in a relationship, it's you're trying to please other people, you're in a workplace that you don't resonate with, you will suffer because your soul is asking you to transcend, to let go of that old way of being so that you can move closer to your highest, your oversoul, or our oversoul of the collective is moving, transmuting those lower energies, releasing them so that we can move closer to the truth of who we are. And literally that's been my journey for 10 years since my awakening, or since the deep awakening, the parts where I really started knowing that something was, the self-seeking, the um seeing through illusion. And it comes in stages because we obviously can't do it all at one time. But yeah, so we aren't we are not here. We're here to embody a frequency, the Christ Magdalene frequency. I'll use those two because it is, and it can be whatever your particular upbringing or beliefs are of who the Buddha, the Christ. I'm trying to think of, I can't remember at the moment the other um, highest spiritual dimensions, whatever that is for you. To me, it is the Christ consciousness. It is the Christ light. That's for my own soul. That is where I read or origin from, and that's who I resonate with. And it doesn't mean that it's the same for you. Um, but so I'd like to speak a little bit more about that as well, that there's been a big movement back to Christianity, to religion, and there's been a big movement out of it because people are seeing, wait a minute, they're going to church, but they're coming out, they're preaching when they're there to be perfect, and then when I go out, I go back to being exactly who I am. And that's what I was witnessing. And I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here. This isn't, and it really what it is that it's just people like to get that hit of feel good that church can bring, but they can't maintain it when they leave because there's no true accountability. There's no community outside of that to live in the truth. And then the other part of it is that the truth was twisted and that we are been conditioned to seek to wait for a savior, to wait for someone to come save us, that we are just going to live this way in our suffering until the Christ or the president or somebody else comes to save us, right? Or arrives to save humanity. And the truth is that we have come to save ourselves. We are the rising of the Christ. We are the rising of the Magdalene. We are here to embody that ourself. It is to embody within ourself. And that is how we will save humanity. Christ is moving through us to, and the Magdalene energy, the feminine rising, and that becomes a unification in our own field, our own energetic field, We bring in the healed masculine, the healed feminine, and the unification within to move into the higher frequency of divine light. It really is the path. And in that path, we learn to be present in the now. There's nowhere to get. It is sometimes it's a life journey. But I will say that this frequency is going to activate DNA. It's going to come quicker. We are, thank goodness, awakening as a collective to that we can't continue this way. Um, we, it's up to us. We have destroyed ourselves on this planet already many times in different epochs. And we are finally waking up and realizing that the frequency of the earth is changing. And it's up to us. It's up to humanity to rise in our own light, to stop blaming, to stop shaming ourselves, to love, to come into compassion. And in that space is where we will be building and bridging into our new earth frequency. I invite you to like and share this channel if this resonates with you. This is what I'll be speaking more of, and all of the things that get in the way. Once you have an awakening, whether it's an addiction, whether it's negativity, an addiction doesn't mean, it could mean any addiction. I have been addicted to many things on different levels, whether it was acceptance or worth or love. I was a love addict. And that doesn't mean that was meaning that I needed somebody outside of me to feel like I needed to rely on somebody else to love me because I didn't have it within myself. And then there was much pain that I wasn't able to face. So there was addiction, alcohol, for years, most of my life, until I was ready to face the pain and release it. And then, we can go to, it can be an addiction to doing. It can be an addiction to eating. It can be an addiction to negativity. It doesn't matter. It is wherever there is a presence of imbalance or a desire to disassociate regularly. We can all disassociate once in a while. This is all not an easy reality to live in and deal with. Not always, but we learn how to cope, and we learn how to cope in different ways that's not self-harming or uh, not living in the truth of our worth, of our divinity. And that is what we're here to do. That's what we're here to be. There's nothing else to do or be. Everything else is just um a or create. We're here to create. What is it here that you're here to create? And what's blocking you from being that creator that you are? That is really, I can say, been my last leg, is because you create as you go through your journey of your life and your different aspects, but there's different levels of creation, and confusion can get in the way, self-doubt, self-worth, and it can keep us from procrastination. It can keep us from just not really sharing our light. So I invite you to join the community. There is a link in the channel in the front that you can join. And Terra Temple community is launching soon. I would love you to be part of our inner circle. And if these topics that I speak of, if this is something that resonates with you, frequency, embodied frequency, healing trauma, healing addiction, all of it, anything that's blocking us from embodying the divinity within us, our own power, our own authority, our own sovereignty. Maybe you just would like to be able to connect with others, to share what's happening with you. You feel alone because a lot of us in this place feel alone and we need connection. And we definitely need time alone to integrate things, to be okay alone. That's how we integrate our own inner self-worth, um, and our own what it is, our truth. That's how we integrate our own truth. But in the end, we need each other. In the end, we need community. So if that resonates, I invite you to fill out the application, or not the application, it's just a form to get on our email list so you can be notified. Or you can just keep an eye out on the channel for more announcements. But anyway, I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel. And I wish you a blessed, amazing, light and free day. Aloha.